Hello, my sweet dear magical friends. Welcome to another one of our videos, Saturn Salon. We are going to be taking a look at the Sun-Saturn Cazimi, the conjunction taking place within hours of this video premiering on Thursday, February the 16th, 2023. If you are new here, welcome, have a seat, grab some cookies and coffee in the back of the room, and make yourself comfortable. I am the remote viewer of this channel. I am the Natalie of Watch Natalie. And if you are returning, if you are a golden oldie, welcome back. It is so lovely to see you again. Guys, you made it. It's Armageddon, but you're still here. The Sun-Saturn Cazimi is happening at 27 degrees of Aquarius, and I'm going to take you through this, all 12 zodiac signs. So make sure to watch for your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. Okay, a little bit of the backstory. So, and Saturn Salon is just for Saturn discussions, just for Saturn talk. So Saturn first entered Aquarius December 2020, and you've been learning some big, hard, difficult lessons since that time. Specifically because it's in the sign of Aquarius, you've been having to really define who you are on your own terms and concretize what you really believe in, what your ideals are, and how that shapes you and defines you. So you could have noticed that the first year, December 2020 to December 2021-ish, could have been a little bit easier with these lessons, and that's because Jupiter was also with Saturn in Aquarius, and they traveled together for that first year. So these lessons weren't that harsh quite yet, but in 2022, 2021, even still, but more so in 2022 and up until now-ish, we've had something called a square happening with Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. So the distinctive energy of the Uranus and Taurus effect, you definitely felt at the end of July and August of 2022. That's when we had the triple conjunction with the North Node in Taurus and Mars in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus. So that was like a very concentrated, like, you know, Pulp Fiction, John Travolta, Uma Thurman, like adrenaline shot to the, was it adrenaline or was it like an epinephrine? I'm thinking of Nora Ephron. I think epinephrine. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So that energy was dueling and battling with the energy of Saturn in Aquarius that's been challenging you to define yourself based on what you really believe in. And hopefully you were able to identify that to yourself first, because then you were challenged to find people and situations and circumstances and jobs and healthcare routines and eating habits, depending on where this is happening for you. And we're going to get to that in a moment too. And you were challenged to find those tribes and those groups and those families and those work situations that aligned with how you define yourself based on your ideals. This is about comrades and alliances, but alliances based off of a shared sense of humanity. So some of the dark sides of this transit since December 2020 could have been where ego gets the better of people and they align with materialism and they disconnect from the emotional part of this and from the idealistic part of this, where you could have seen a lot of people just feeling more pressure to be accepted over standing up for what they really believe in. And some of the more like physical manifestations could have been things like augmentations, plastic surgeries, changing the aesthetic. And when these things are happening because you want to fit in, those are the things that are not going to work the very best. And guys, we have like a couple more weeks left of this, and it's just like the Armageddon. Like, this is a huge crunch time for all of us for the lessons that we're trying to learn. So, you know, whatever it happens to be, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, and we're going to go to all the 12 zodiac signs, but I just want to get through this first. I mean, that's like a very simple example, but this has just really been the stress test of everything that has either in your life been built because it really is who you are, or if you had built that and set up that structure because it's not who you are and you did it for a different reason, maybe ego, maybe, you know, something else, but you know, you were figuring it out. You had a really great boost in abundance from December 2020 to December 2021, and that would have been the easiest. That's when it could have been overconfident, or that's when it could have been, you know, a lot of goodness and a lot of options, and that Jupiter could have brought you a lot of choices, a lot of friends, a lot of people, or new people, different people, and it could have been really bountiful and beneficial for you in that area of life. But then in 2022 and coming into 2023 even, you were dealing with the stress of those foundations being stress tested and breaking down with the Saturn Uranus squares. There were 3 big ones that took place. And, you know, that, yes, okay, that happened, and we're going to be getting out of that very soon, like for real. But the triple conjunction at the end of the summer of 2022 was more about showing you the future and showing you how to be very resourceful in your own skills, talents, and abilities, and to feel a little bit more confident in who you really are. But there were still some things that you were trying to close out, some responsibilities that you felt like you had to institute, to the structures that you built, to, you know, what you've already committed to, what you already maybe promised to yourself or to other people or to employers, or, you know, contracts and all of those binding type of things. Saturn's been exerting this very responsible, guilty sort of influence on us. We're almost out from under that. But just to give you guys a little bit of the backstory of how this journey's been for every single one of us up until now, we're almost there. I'm sorry if I look rough tonight. I'm just a Saturn baby and I'm ruled by Saturn, and it's just, I hope I don't though, for real, because I never wanted to look like how life has been. If that, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I just don't want to look like rough, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm sorry if I do. Sorry. But if the concealer is concealing, thank you. So that's a little bit of the backstory, and you know, if you have been honoring who you really are, it's probably been very lonely. It's probably been very lonely. But that's only because you have the standards, you have the high standards, and don't give up, you know, because it feels like I'm in Children of Men, to be very honest with you guys. Like, it just, I know I got a little dark talking about, oh, here's something for telepathy, a great telepathy story real quick. So, you know how I took down my tree on Sunday, and then, but I was watching Superman, right? My mom did the same exact thing, except she was watching this Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and she was taking down her tree on Sunday watching Superman 2. And I was doing the same thing, except I was watching Man of Steel. You know, I just love her. I love her to pieces. Anyway, but you know, the Saturn in Aquarius is definitely the community. It's also technology, it's also AI, it's also aliens, it's also a lot of other things, but I'm bringing it down to be very personal for you guys so that you know, it's because the most important thing right now, let me get there. Okay, the Sun-Saturn Cazimi. So this is Thursday. And here we are at the Sun-Saturn Cazimi, and basically what's happening is that there's a really big reset happening. So it's like a dark time, especially because the moon is dark, and we're going into a new moon phase. On Sunday, there's a new moon. But on Thursday, there's the Sun-Saturn Cazimi happening, which means that the sun is passing over Saturn and showing us all of these lessons that we've been trying to learn since December 2020 about who we are, what we believe in, and the people that we align with in our families, in our careers, in our friendship circles, and wherever and however humans just like congregate and come together, and showing us the lessons that we've been, you know, coming up against in terms of when it's easy and fun to build a connection, when it feels really burdensome. So if you'll know if any of these connections, like if there were any new connections since December 2020 or around that time that you made with people, you'll know that they're meant to stay if there's still freedom in that connection and you really support each other's process of individuation. You'll know that this is not a healthy thing for you. If you'll know that this is toxic, if there's an like a boundary crossing feeling of being responsible for the other person's feelings, or manipulations of guilt, or manipulating feelings of responsibility, manipulating feelings of fear, or manipulating feelings of duty. With the Sun-Saturn especially, this can show you where what maybe started out as, for instance, like a either like a teacher student, or even in certain like love connections where there are age differences or even just maturity differences. When it starts out, it could be a little bit of flattery and pedestaling, where one person thinks the other person is like really great and like, oh, you know, thanks for teaching me this stuff, and oh wow, you're so wise, and wow, you know, and then it gets toxic when that person could maybe see that person learning somewhere else, or wanting to teach someone else, or, you know, if there's some kind of jealousy, and that's fear-based as well, then it feels, then whoever used to be pedestaling or pedestaled, they're the ones that can turn fearful and fear-based, and then they'll start to criticize, and then they'll start to nitpick, and then they'll start to make it feel like that relationship is really cramped and small instead of expanding the horizons. And that can work in either direction. So, you know, it can work if there's a love connection where there's an age difference or maturity difference, someone that used to be very wise and knowing and, you know, teaching you things, they could get jealous when you learn things from other people. They could get sort of possessive if you're hanging out with other people, and then you know that that's very toxic. It can also work in the reverse, where the student can get jealous if the teacher teaches other people, or wants to share their information with other people, and then you know that that's gotten toxic and that's a boundary being crossed. It depends on the nature of this kind of connection. This can be marriages, this is your friendships, this is your, you know, your allyships, this is your business partnerships, what have you, and I'll get into that in a moment. We're making it through. My sweater's so wrinkly, but it's because it's dangerous being a single female, and I'm not going to risk my life to have wrinkly-less clothes right now. Okay, so Thursday, the Sun-Saturn Cazimi is showing you all of these lessons in a very clear way. And I just want to say that, you know, you're coming into a new moon over the weekend, and like all of this stuff now at the end of February going into March, these are like old cycles ending. March is going to be like dunking you into the ice bucket of the future. Like it's going to be very new. It's going to have a totally different feeling. Your life is going to feel totally different than it does right now. So just hold on a little bit more. Okay. Okay. So Another thing about this Cazimi is that it's like a reset moment. So you can think back to like January of 2021 and January of 2022, because those are the only other two times when we had a moment like this. So there could have been like a major reset in this area of life. I'll talk about that when we get into the all signs breakdown. But just know that this is still a dark moment where it's like a seed in the dirt and you can't see it yet. You have to water it and wait, and then it'll sprout, it'll break ground. Or it's like sitting on eggs, you know, before they hatch. You have to let it grow in the dark, but the seed moment is happening right now. So the best that you can, this is also like, I call it Armageddon because it's like a karmic reckoning. Like it's like if you didn't learn all of these lessons from December 2020 until now, then it's like a lot of experiences that are like putting it in front of your face, like in an unavoidable way, where like, you know, you are locked out, you're getting no's everywhere. There's no wiggle room, there's no place to turn. Okay, so it's like you just have to deal with it. And that's what this Cazimi is. It's showing you what that lesson is. So the best thing that you can do is meditate on the lessons and meditate and think about it and really consider everything that I've just said and really think. And now we're going to get to your 12 sign breakdown, and you can skip ahead at the bottom. Has there been lipstick on my teeth this entire time and no one told me? It's been that kind of month. It's been that kind of lifetime. I'm just kidding. Not surprised at all. Okay, so where was I? So the sun, okay, so you're resetting. Okay, so this is how you're going to do this. You're going to just meditate on the deepest lessons of the past couple of years and make your changes. Make the changes on the inside first, because something definitely doesn't feel right, and you like know the right thing to do, and there may be difficulty doing it because you have to confront a fear. Or you have to confront a fear of judgment. This is about standing up for what's right and standing up for who you are, standing up for your tribe, your family, your group, your people. And you know, it's not always, it may not be easy, and people may not understand. There could be haters, there could be judgments, there could be criticisms. But you know, that's why it can feel kind of lonely for people right now. But you just have to remember Superman and Lois, because they have each other. And even if you just have one person, you know, that appreciates goodness, or just one person that believes in you, or just, you know, like for me, that's my mom. Oh, okay, well, I take that back. There's like a small handful of people I know that really do see and appreciate like goodness and sweetness. You know, it's like my mom, she's so sweet. One person I know, and it's even more rare like in business and in industries, there's such wonderful people I met through you know, work, for instance, that it's like the people are what I want to hang on to, you know, like everything, like the people are so, the connections, when they're authentic and they're real, they're so valuable beyond your wildest imaginations. And it's just like the purity and the honesty of those connections that you really want as like standards for yourself. So please meditate on that like at this time, because I mean, when I do like find someone like that, or when I see that in someone, like I'm just like a little puppy dog, and I'm like, are you my friend? You want to be my friend? Are we friends now? You know, because it's like, oh my God, you know, and you know, there are people out there, like I said, and you know, even though I can count like on one hand, you know, who they are, it's still so refreshing like to see that. And so just keep believing, like they're going to be few and far between, you know. But if it's like, you know, Howard Rourke, like waiting to get his job, and he'll go work in the quarry, and he'll do what he has to do, but he finds those people, and you know, it's a lifetime of it. And it's like everyone comes from like all different walks of life, and it's like, you know, I have one that I can think of that she's just like the sweetest, most like spiritual like person, and she's just got like this heart of gold, and she's just like, she has a song like encourage yourself, like she's just like just my heart just like melts, you know. Someone else is a billionaire. He wasn't a billionaire when I met him, but he's a billionaire now, and he's just so sweet, and like, you know, just like warms my heart. You know, another one I'm thinking of, he's a Hollywood insider, he's a screenwriter, and he's sorry, one. He's really funny. That's why I'm laughing. He's really funny. He's a sweetheart, but like he's like a unicorn. Like he's like an exception, like in that like industry, you know. So it's like it's there everyone, but like even like those like what, three people besides my mom that I mentioned, like it years to find those people. It took years and years and years to find those people. And you know, I just so really just meditate on like every single person in your life, and you know, just like just meditate on the quality of those connections, and be honest with yourself and be real with yourself, and you know, really look at them judiciously, okay? Because part of this is people. It's a big part of this is people, and the nature of the connection that you have with these people. And you only got that after you define it for yourself. Okay, so it's okay if you don't feel like a sense of belonging, but you should be feeling a sense of belonging with yourself, like your integrity with yourself, and then just being patient with, you know, hopefully you find people that that are in that same, that have that same promise with themselves, that have that same integrity with themselves. Then you can trust them to hold themselves to a standard of integrity, okay? Because some of the toxic stuff that I mentioned earlier, where people are manipulating each other because of fear or guilt or shame, or, you know, manipulating, specifically manipulating feelings of responsibility, duty, and guilt, you know, that is very toxic. And it's really bad for you. It's bad for both of you. And it's something that you have great access to see. You can see it right now. And this is the time to make changes, because when we literally, this is like crunch time until March the 7th, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and get, this was only supposed to be 15 minutes of your intro. So let's go ahead and Aries, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs, welcome, willkommen. You guys are doing this Sun-Saturn Cazimi in your 11th house of friends, groups, associations, and your dreams for the future. So that first year, December 2020 to December 2021, could have had you very optimistic, making a lot of new friends. But then as you had the square with Uranus in your second house, you could have realized that finances were an issue. Finances and friends did not mix. Maybe you tried to do financial collaborations with friends or business with friends and it did not work so well. Maybe some of it did, but maybe some of it didn't. Look at where you are with that now and internalize all of these lessons is the most important part. And learning those really good boundaries, showing up with respect and kindness for the boundaries of your friends, and you know which friends have shown up very loyally for you and where have you shown up very loyally in your friends, groups, and associations. Also with online activity, that could have been more difficult since December 2020, so you may be ready to, you know, after March 7th when Saturn leaves and goes into Pisces, at least that'll be over and done with, and you'll have, you know, it won't be so hard. It won't be so hard. Something else is going to be hard, not that. So yeah, really look at your friends and really take a very realistic view of your long-term future, where you're going to retire. Maybe you thought you were going to retire on a beach and you're like, I want to go to the top of a mountain. Or you thought you were going to be at the top of a mountain and you're like, no, I don't want that at all. I want to be on the beach. Or, you know, just it's making you feel very sober and very mature. Okay, now the end of last summer could have brought some really great money-making ideas and maybe even some big push into your own self-esteem. So this is the time to be very sober and realistic, Aries, but to also definitely, no matter what's happening with the finances, to insist on believing in yourself and your own skills, talents, and abilities, because you might have lost a lot of support from others since November 2021, and this is the time to really shore up and take care of your mental health. That's going to be a big thing coming up for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at your tarot. Yes, I want to do tarot for you guys too. Just a cover and cross. Just taking the one that flipped upright. It's the Page of Pentacles. So that could have been something new that you tried to get going, Aries. Especially financially. Keep going. Keep trying it. But just be realistic about how you need to show up, especially if this is a business or if this is financial, but in the friendships too. Crossed by the Three of Wands and the Six of Swords. So you're moving on from maybe having to reconcile certain things about the future, you know, or realizing that if you did start something, that it's going to take a lot more than maybe you thought it would take to get yourself comfortable with it, or just making sure that you're really committed to this for the long haul because it's that important to you. Okay. Guys, we're not going to have this kind of heaviness for another 27 years in these. Okay, Taurus, you guys are next. Taurus. All right, Tauruses, you guys have this Armageddon happening in your 10th house of professional life. Like, this is who you are to the public. This is your brand. This is your image. This can have to do with your professional success. I moved in my chair. This could have to do with your professional success, or this could have to do with you as a parent, you as a married person or a not married person, or where you want your career to really go. So it looks like Taurus, Sun, Moon, Risings are definitely feeling the pressure of answering to parenthood in a very responsible, sober way. And maybe, you know, it was maybe a little bit, you had more support that first year from December 2020 to December 2021, but you especially 2021, 2022, you had major revelations happening. I mean, the very earth beneath your feet, you and your soul and your heart totally was screaming something else with the square to Uranus and Taurus. So you've been changing and growing at a faster pace than your own reputation can catch up with. So how you want, this is probably a good time for you to incubate a new image for yourself, because you're ready to just, you know, show up to these roles in a very different way, in a way that's a lot truer for you, that is more representative of who you are and who you're growing into in Taurus 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Okay, this could even see something, you know, gonna be stabilizing later on, but, you know, just be sure to take really, really good care of yourself, because this could feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. So really think about that, like professionally who you are aligned with and the groups that support you, that support your image. And, you know, if you're doing anything professionally or anything even like as a parent for ego gratification, or that's not really in alignment with your parenting style or how you want to be seen professionally, then, you know, it probably hurts right now. It probably feels a little bit, you know, burdensome, because you don't feel like you're projecting an accurate image of yourself, or that you're not parenting the way you really think that you should be parenting. Okay, Meditate on it, Taurus. Meditate. Let's take a look at your tarot. Any messages for Taurus? This could be more responsibility too. It could also be disconnecting from where those feelings of responsibility have been toxic and guilted. If you've been feeling guilted into stuff. Ooh, 6 of Wands. So this is very public. This could be you doing something on the internet or having, you know, wanting to do a little bit more or change, like I said, the reputation or the image somehow. But you're worried about it with the 9 of Swords. So you may be worried that, wow, if I parent the way I want to parent, that the other parents are going to judge me. That's just silly. So we see that you're concerned about your image and about what will happen to your image if you do something that you feel is more aligned with who you are. Don't make decisions out of fear. Don't make fear-based decisions, okay? That's always going to be the wrong decision. You don't want to act or speak on that kind of energy. Take a break, go away and meditate, calm yourself down, do your breathing exercises. Have a lot of meditations up now. So I forgot to say so many things at the beginning. I'll put that in later. But, you know, whatever you do to sort of regulate yourself, regulate your emotions, being a parent to yourself first, and then making those decisions moving forward, okay? Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs, welcome, willkommen. You guys are channeling this Sun-Saturn Cazimi in your 9th house of, this is really big for you guys. This is ethics. This is morality. This is the area of life that rules and governs for you, integrity, your belief systems, and really what's right, what is right. This is where you take all the trauma. Actually, this is a big deal for Geminis because Geminis are taking all of the baggage from Capricorn. Pluto's at the 29th degree of Capricorn. And this is where you figure all of it out and what you think about it, you know? So whatever traumas you've been through, whatever baggage you have, this is exactly where you sort it out in your 9th house of Aquarius and decide what was right, what was wrong, what was true, what do I, you know, still, what do I think about all this? So for you Geminis, you guys are feeling very, you might be feeling morally pressured. You would feel like some kind of, now for some of you this is going to be a little bit more mundane, where this is like, if you're at college is just really hard. You have a professor you can't understand because of their dialect and who won't teach you. You have a professor who's a misogynist. You have a racist professor. You have there's some kind, or you're going to medical school and it's like really hard, you know, there's some pressure, okay, burdens and feelings of or it's traveling, and travel is really difficult on you, on your body right now. Or maybe you've been traveling a lot since December 2020 and you're like, and this is the incubation period for you where you're thinking maybe I should just pick a spot. Maybe I should pick a spot. And okay, so you know, this is something coming down pretty heavy on your conscience is what I'll say. Something you're just really resetting it for yourself. You feel empowered, Gems, that you can always change your, that's what you guys do, is change your mind. Okay, change your mind based on new information. This can also be for some of you like releasing and letting go of ideologies and belief systems that were more following the crowd and defining who you are anew, fresh for yourself based on what you believe is right, what you believe is wrong. And then the people around you may be changing a little bit because of that, but you'll feel it is well with my soul. It is okay. As long as I did what I feel is the right thing to do, everything else is going to work out. Everything else is going to be okay because I want to be happy. And I can give myself permission to be happy right now, even with the traumas, even with the unknown, even with this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, feel empowered that you get to make your own like 10 commandments a little bit, but it has to be true for you. It has to really make sense for you, gems. It cannot be according to anyone else's ideology. It cannot be according to what anyone else is like shaking their finger at you, their righteousness, and saying like, this is right, that's wrong. It's really got to be what your conscience is okay with. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot. Tarot mess. Ooh. King of Wands and the Three of Wands. Interesting. So this could be a partner of yours, or this could be you looking at your future and trying to figure out what to expect from it. There are expectations here, and you're sort of figuring out like, well, maybe even deciding like what you're going to do in a situation. Oh, another person, the Queen of Pentacles. So you and another person or two other people could be working something out. This could, for you in your 9th house, this could be business. This could, you know, this all could be about business, where you're going to be entering into some interesting business connections or business alliances, but it's an international business alliances, and you guys are, make sure you come to an agreement that is really true to your integrity, Gemini. Okay, there's still going to be something, the Cazimi, Saturn's invisible, we can't really see. Whenever a planet meets with the sun, is Cazimi, and there, I don't have the degrees memorized, but there's like Cazimi combust, and that's like a whole geeky thing. So I'm not going to get like too into it, but it basically means that whenever a planet gets really close to the sun, we can't see it. So Leos, like, you guys are the center of everything. Yes, that's why. Because whenever anyone gets close to a Leo, like, we all just like blend in the background, and it's just like the Leo that like it's all, you know, as it should be. So, I don't know. I think I digressed. Okay, let's keep going. Cancerian, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. We're up now. I am a Cancer rising. Okay, it's been, how have you been? How have you been? It has been absolutely traumatizing over here. It has been for all of us Cancers. Okay, so we've been doing this in our 8th house of trauma, the baggage, and money, and find other people's money, what we share with other people. So Cancers, you guys have been, that first year could have been a lot easier. December 2020 to December 2021, where it was easier for you to either get financing. It was easier for you, for your partner even as well. So, you know, I remember I did really great with Bitcoin. I did really great with Bitcoin. I was like easy peasy. I was doing really well with my channeling of coins, and that's what I was working with, my ability that way, and it was really easy and fun and great because Jupiter was there. But this was definitely for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Risings, having to do with analyzing what you share with other people and all forms of energy exchange. So financial energy, sexual energy, mental energy, verbal energy, physical energy, like all of it. And really making sure that you're showing up respectful to yourself first and foremost, and then showing up in a respectful way to the other person's boundaries, the other person's rights and responsibilities. Okay, so, you know, at this Cazimi, it could definitely be a point that is really showing you where you stand in your connections with other people as far as relationships, and also where you stand in terms of you know, the decisions that you made and how you share with other people, and how did that go for you. So because of the squares to Uranus and Taurus, there could have definitely been new friendships that came in, and surprises through your friend groups, maybe attractions there, maybe businesses and business opportunities there. But there could have also been breakups and friendship estrangements and alienations there, and like just general weirdness. Like, it could have definitely been a very hot and cold, on and off type of energy. Also having to do with how you see your future going, either with a partner or with anyone else in general. you've been really wanting to rewrite your future and what you can expect from your future. And your personal bonds, links, and connections with others have had a very dampening view on that, and sort of like cramping your style a little bit. Or they've been very dutifully serving your visions, dutifully serving your dreams for the future. So, you know, this Cazimi moment is your last really big insight into the truth of where you stand, with your own baggage, with your own healing, with your own self-respect, how you've been able to respect yourself first, and then earning the right to then share yourself with others, how you've behaved in these interactions with others, making sure that you're showing up with integrity in your promises to other people. And if anything has grown sort of toxic, it's falling by the wayside. It has been very difficult, okay? And, you know, specifically how you have responded to any fast moving situations, sexually, financially, and having to do with other people, because this energy is really, the 8th house has like sudden fast things happen that way. And so sometimes if a traumatic event happens, even the speed of it at which it happens is part of the trauma. So this could be where you've been working out things that happen too fast. You know, it's when you were a kid and then all of a sudden, you know, a parent dies of a heart attack. Like that's like a blindsiding thing to happen. Or you have some car accident and just out of nowhere, in the 𝚑𝚊𝚗𝚕𝚒𝚗𝚗𝚑, in the blink of an eye, your whole life changes. Okay, so it's like dealing with that, if that's part of your history, but just life in general, how things can happen really fast and all of a sudden life is totally different. You wake up in a moment and life is totally different. So how do you cope with that kind of a thing? How do you answer and rise to the occasion and deal with that, essentially? Okay. Now this energy is gonna move on. You're incubating a new, fresh restart here. You're not going to be either sharing yourself or sharing your money or sharing your energy willy-nilly. It's not appropriate anymore. Probably hasn't been in some kind of a way, shape, or form. And now you're resetting where you're going to be you're definitely going to be honoring yourself first and respecting your own boundaries first, in accordance with your own personal integrity before opening up and sharing with others. Now, if it's been a little bit better for you, then this could even be a seed being planted where you're going to be making a big commitment to share with another person, share in a relationship or a project or something that's a big deal. And that could be long lasting, that could grow in value over time. So it's just depending on what you're bringing to life and in this moment, like where everybody is. Okay, let's take a look. Cancer. Tell us everything. That, oh wow, this is so true for Cancers. Look at the 6 of Pentacles. Remember what I say about the 6 of Pentacles is that it's the equal give and take with universe. So listen, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Risings, you could have dealt with this in yourself, and you could have also dealt with it in other people. The fear or the tit for tat counting and any fear-based responses and reactions and like loan agreements. Okay, you and a bank, you and a financial institution, me and crypto, like the interest rates, right? You know, so it's like making sure that you know that you're entering into some kind of contractual relationship on an equal footing, equal give and take with that person or institution, but above all else, it's with universe. So it's a portal, and a portal goes both ways. So if there's been any black holes that just take from you, that's real, or that you feel that way about, it's going to be so clear now. Two of Swords. So there's something that you're still getting unstuck out of, and that is going to clear up. Okay, this is, I'm calling it Armageddon affectionately, because we're like in the middle of it, you know, and especially for this weekend, it's like a very dark moon, so it's like the answers are not going to really come up for a little bit yet. So the best thing and the only thing that you can do is to meditate on the lessons that you needed to learn. Okay, that's going to be the most important, and to have a lot of faith in your own skills, talents, and abilities, and in your future, because of the Uranus and Taurus in your 11th house. So you really do want to have faith that whatever is happening, whatever these big changes are, that it is for your best interest, and that you will see it through, and that you will be okay, because you always are. Okay, it's a big one for you. This is a traumatic place for this to be happening for us. Leos are next. Leo, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. You guys have a very interesting karmic playing out in your, I want to say, happening, ingressing into your, inside of your 7th house, Sun and Saturn, Cazimi at 27 degrees in your 7th house of relationships. Big one for Leo, sun, moon, risings. Like, you guys have been since 2020, December 2020. That first year could have been feeling very big, where you've had a lot of relationships, a lot of new people you're meeting, or one particular relationship could have just been flourishing and being really great and really easy. But then 2022, later in 2021, you have the squares to Uranus in your 10th house. So then your reputation just was like undergoing some different changes, and your partners were a little bit maybe not so happy about it, or they could have just been affecting each other, where your partner's needs were incongruent with your career needs, and your career needs and you trying to revamp your image was butting up against what the partner wants. And that was a push-pull for a very long time. And the end of summer of 2022 is when you saw a bigger influx into the career, the professional space, the reputation, something you were defining yourself in a different way, maybe getting divorced, maybe getting married, maybe launching your new job or new brand or something, wanting to change how the people see you. And now this is really where you're getting a very clear insight into how you feel in terms of how you approach relationships. Not only that, but, well, let me start there. So yeah, how you approach relationships, and how you feel with your integrity when you get into relationships, and how you show up respecting yourself first before honoring that person next. This is also going to show you where you stand with these people, where you feel indebted to certain people, where those connections have grown sort of toxic and codependent, or they don't feel good anymore, they feel guilty. So that's going to be very, obvious and very clear to you, and you're going to have some feelings about it. So, this is a seeding time, so you may be making a really big commitment. Just be careful that you're not feeling very sacrificial, because you don't want that to be part of your identity, where I'm sacrificing this because I love this person or something. You don't want that's not the healthy thing to do. So if this is an ending, it can't stand this kind of pressure and stress for both of you to be, who you are. There's just something that's not in alignment for both of you, and you can let this go. And it'll feel, maybe not now because you're going through it, but it's going to feel like a huge relief that it's like, okay, all right, I didn't keep my end of the bargain, or they didn't, or we both didn't, and we just hurt each other too much, or like whatever happens to be. So it's a good release, it's a good release, and you'll know which way this is going. Like, it's going to be very clear, like, wow, we're so strong, we made it through so much, and we feel so good. Or it's like, I'm dead, you're dead, we're all dead. And it's like, it's been dead, you know, it's like, you know. So let's take a look at your tarot. Ooh. Okay, so this is telling me, the Six of Wands with the Three of Cups, that someone might want to be seen as single. Someone wants to not really have a big committed relationship. So let me get the crossing energy. Five of Cups. So there could be some regrets over that, like maybe you or the other person, someone tried to I don't want to say fool around, because there's a lot of different types of relationships out there, you know what I'm saying? But there does seem to be a little bit of regret over like an insincere reputation, or maybe crossing some boundaries with friends or third party situations, or you know, there could have been knocks to your reputation if you did not show up in your relationships with integrity, that actually could have had some kind of effect on how people see you. And like, don't get too sad about it. You can make the best of it, and you will. This is the best time right now to really absorb those lessons, though, and really take a look at where you might have been overconfident, or where you maybe prioritized your ego over honor in relationships, or maybe even in the career. Okay, because there could be not only that, but there could have also been challenges where one-to-one relationships challenged you to show up in a way to innovate your career, to like level up in the career, and you could have had, you know, fears about that. You could have been afraid to be more committed to someone, but it could have been good for you. So you might be growing into certain relationships as well as growing out of other relationships. Okay, Virgo, you guys are having this Sun-Saturn Cazimi in your 6th house. This is a house that naturally embraces conflict. So there could have been a lot of petty conflicts that you've had to deal with, or this would be like in the workplace with coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, or anyone that works for you. Okay, and that first year, December 2020-ish to December 2021 could have brought a lot of work to you, a lot of assignments, a lot of coworkers, or it could have brought some really great talent, like people that are helping you and serving you and supporting you. But in like a work capacity, you know, like this would be like your nail tech, your lawnmower, or just like people that do services for you that you do not take advice from. Okay, that's a different part of astrology. But after that first year, it got hard. So 2022 saw a lot of squares, difficult energy to your Uranus and Taurus in your 9th house. So this is saying that, you know, maybe you found a personal assistant, or you found a great nail tech, or you found, you know, someone like that, but your ideologies don't really match up, and you've learned that the past couple of years. Maybe you just have different ethical systems, different belief systems, and it might have been difficult for you to not make that so big. It could be difficult. It could have gotten more and more difficult to not talk about certain things. Maybe this is politics, maybe this is religion, maybe this is even travel, or, you know, the work itself could have been sort of difficult. So if your daily grind has been very difficult, you know, you could have been feeling that you've been doing a lot of like grunt work, or work that's beneath you and not a lot of compensation for it. You could be feeling kind of unappreciated, especially at this point, at the Cazimi moment, where you're ready to make life easier for yourself. And for some Virgos, this absolutely brought healthcare challenges, and you might have just been taking your health way more seriously since December 2020. So making sure you're getting those checkups, making sure you're staying hydrated, and all of those kinds of things, really, really important. if there are any health issues, they're going to be exacerbated between now and March 7th. So, but it's just showing you really what you've got to pay really close attention to. Okay, so my mom's going through her Saturn return. She's a Virgo, and so it's like really just make sure that you take care of these like health issues, because it's like if you are in your Saturn return, I'll put the numbers up at some point, but or the dates up. Just know that it's extra important for you if you're born in between these dates, that you know that it's your Saturn return. And for you at this point with this Cazimi moment, you're really seeing the hill you don't want to die on. You're really seeing either a healthcare challenge, or you're seeing the truth of where you stand with a coworker or employee or a person that is of service to you. And you could really see very clearly where this might have grown sort of toxic or imbalanced, especially if they are manipulating any. Okay, so when you have like the employer and the employees, for instance, there's like the union side, and then there's like the owner side. And the worker side will usually say that the boss is so greedy and so demanding, and they're bullies, and they're being unfair. But that boss will have their perspective and say, you're just trying to do as little work for the most amount of my money, and you're making excuses, you're being a victim, and then there's like these dueling perspectives. And this could be a moment for you, Virgo, which wherever you stand in this, where you could really see the imbalance, where there's not fairness, there's something that's out of alignment with your integrity. And it could be in the relationship with these coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, and you could really be challenged to correct it. You could really see into the heart of the issue, where that employee is trying to guilt feelings of responsibility and project a lot of victimhood onto you where it's not deserved, and where you need your boundary back as an employer, or as if you're the manager, and where you need to make sure that they understand that they're responsible for their feelings, and that you don't have to go above and beyond in certain ways. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be something like that, or it could be in the reverse, where if you've been having a really difficult time at work, where you may get like one last assignment, or you may do one last thing that feels very sacrificial, but you're doing it to get something better. You're doing it so that you have, oh my gosh, there's something going on with Virgo right now. This must like definitely resonate for someone. I'm not quite sure where I left off before the screen started to freak out, Virgo, but I do know that we were talking about your Sun-Saturn Cazimi in your 6th house being, a really hard, good look at your daily life and your daily routines. So if that's been particularly difficult, this is going to be a time when you can see the heart into why. You can see into the heart of why and what parts of your day can be improved. And like I said, you might be about to take on, some kind of big project, or a different day job, or something else, and it's going to be something that is going to be better for you, but only if you stay true to yourself, and only if you stay true to your integrity. And this could separate you from some people that you work with, but this would be like either people you see every day, or like a day job, or maybe even separate from your nail tech, or your gardener, or your assistant, anyone that works for you that you do not take advice from. But if that happens, then this is gonna help you it's more like unloading of a burden, and there's something that might not resonate with you about this job, or this person, or this situation ethically. There's something that You know, so you might be moving on into something that just sits better with you ethically, morally, you know, and your integrity. So you want to trust that. Go with what makes you feel morally clean, or what you feel like is really right in your heart of hearts. So this could be letting go of a big burden or a big conflict. Okay. Wow, you guys, my system's like really glitching out on Virgo. So Virgos, pay extra special attention. Okay, because there's someone like, okay, it's almost over, Virgo. That looks like a really hard one. That looks like a really hard one to deal with. So Emperor to start with. So that could be your boss, or you might be the boss. It depends. Like if you work for someone else's company, then this is dealing with difficulty with other coworkers and or your managers, immediate supervisors. And if you own your own company or you're working for yourself and these are your employees that are giving you grief and that are you know, being really a little bit, they maybe feel something about this feels like it's more trouble than it's worth. And so if it's not in alignment with your integrity, I feel like you'll know how to do the right thing for you. The High Priestess. This is the person that knows all of the corporate secrets. This is the one that knows like all of the ins and outs of the organization, Virgo. So I feel like you should trust yourself. You should really just trust your own intuition when it comes to, like, if you are the boss, if you do have your own company, if you have employees, or if you have people that work for you, really go with your intuition. You're not going to go wrong. You are actually in a position to act from strength and a great deal of power. So, you know, don't doubt yourself. Trust yourself at this time because you have great access to your own intuition. You know, this is also opposing Leo stuff in your 12th house. So this is really about not sacrificing your moments of peace, Virgo, in order to what? In order to serve whom? In order to serve what? It's just not worth it. It's way more worth it to do the hard things that you've got to do, to show up to your day with a healthy mindset, a good attitude, and taking good care of your body and feeling good about your life moment to moment, because this is what this is for you. It comes down to how you feel moment to moment living your own life, and how you feel moment to moment showing up to your own life and the people around you that you see and that you have to talk to every single day, that are either going to affirm your mentality and they're going to encourage the most positive thinking for you, or they're going to bring you down and they're going to be negative and they're going to act against your best interests and they're going to make it harder for you to stay positive or who you really are, or creative or successful, whatever happens to be. So it's the quality of for you, Virgo, the quality of the people that you see that you're working very closely with every day, or the people you employ, or how you show up to your own mentality and your own mind every single day. That's going to make all the difference in the world for you coming up. You're about to focus a lot on your relationships, and it's going to be a whole different vibe in March. So you're at the end of it. So really, as if it's dark or if it feels like you're overwhelmed, take this weekend. It's a great weekend to just rest anyway. You know, put down the medias and everything and just, you know, take a little staycation break and really rejuvenate so that you can start your next week with like a great clean slate with your relationships, because that's what's coming up for you anyway. So trust yourself at this time. Hello Libra, welcome, willkommen. You guys are having this Cazimi manifesting in your life through your heart, through your children, if you have children, and this is, you know, your creative births as well. So anything that you're doing there also, but really break this down to your subliminal self, your inner child, and really answering the integrity of what your subconscious, your subliminal self, your inner child needs first and foremost, honoring that with individual consideration, you know, your process of individuation, and showing up to your own heart first and foremost with integrity, and, you know, honoring the truth of your heart first and foremost before answering to everything else. And if you have any children of the mind, of the body, of the heart, then of course, definitely they could have been especially difficult to rear over the last couple of years. December 2020 to December 2021 could have definitely felt that love, sex, dating, children, romance, your small business, all these things were easier. You had some, you know, additional help with the Jupiter having been there. But then in 2022, 2021, you definitely also had some difficulties with baggage in these areas as well. You also had difficulties with money, spending, resources, your resources versus other people's resources, and having to really figure out blockages, personal blockages, also having to work through any traumas. And you got a really big jolt of this at the end of last summer. That's when you had the triple conjunction in your 8th house, and that definitely was something that gave you like a lot of perspective in terms of, you know, what your baggage is, what you still hold on to, and what you're ready to heal and move on from. This has something to do with children. This has something to do with your creative talents and abilities. This has something to do with how you treat your own self, your own subliminal self. For you guys, I would recommend watching my vlog, How to Heal and Move On. I talk a lot more of how to do that, like step by step, and it's free. So, you know, just look at my channel. But you know, this Cazimi moment where the sun meets Saturn, this is the last one. You can think back to January 2021, January 2022, and see what was going on, because this is the last one that you're going to get where you have this kind of sober and clear insight into your heart, into your children. And you know, it could feel especially down at this time. You may not know like how it's going to turn out. You might know more about where you stand with your children, where you stand with your small business, where you stand with your creative project, where you stand with your sexuality, with your sexual identity, where you stand with your the romance. And there might not be much romance happening, to be honest. For you guys, you might feel very unloved right now. You could feel very alienated. And if that's okay, if that's the case, that's okay, because it's teaching you that you need to go where you feel really loved, Libra, where you feel actually seen, where you feel appreciated, where you feel encouraged to be exactly who you are, without judgment, without expectations. And you know, so it could feel especially difficult for you, for your children, for your lovers at this time. Not committed relationships. It's like lovers. It's like falling in love, okay? So you really meditate and sit with it, and you know, just try to and absorb the lessons that are being shown to you, because over the next few weeks until March 7th, they're going to be really sharp and visceral and in your face, and you really want to pay attention to specifically where you abandon yourself, okay? You want to stop doing that. You want to answer, you want to let your own inner child and your own subliminal self have the first bite before you share it with your children. You know what I'm saying? You know, you open a pop fresh and you have the first sip, the fresh first sip, before you let everybody else have a sip. It's kind of like that, like letting that little you be happy and free and feel very well appreciated and taken care of. But it has to be you giving that to yourself first. So if you've been looking for that, if you've been looking for children to validate you, if you've been looking for your business to validate you, if you've been looking for lovers to validate you, if you've been looking for sexuality and sexual attractiveness to validate you, no, that's gonna work right now. And if you've been trying to do that, that's all ego. Saturn in Aquarius is bringing the ego stuff out. If you've been trying to do plastic surgeries, I am not against plastic surgery, okay? If you even, I'm not against aesthetic plastic surgery. I don't judge if you get implants or blonde hair. I mean, look, I have freaking blue hair, right? So it just for, it's like really you being you, though. Not because you want to look like some supermodel, because you want to emulate some you know, somebody else. It has to be because you want to look more like yourself. It has to be because you want to create yourself in your own image. It has to be because you are creative and you're getting that creative idea. Then it's okay, and then that's going to feed you more confidence. But if you just still feel empty, or it's never enough, and you want to get more nips and tucks and tweaks, then this is going to feel harsher, okay? Because you're going to feel the coldness, you're going to feel the alienation from your own self, and it's because you're abandoning yourself. And that's not what you want to do at this time, Libra, Sun, Moon, Risings. You want to just rush into your own rescue with love and acceptance and applause. Okay. Let's take a look at your tarot. What's going out, my leaves? My lovely leaves. You know, for some of you, if you have children, your children could be like getting older, and you could have really seen them maturing over the last couple of years, and you might have feelings about that. This is so especially true for like mother-daughter relationships. Yeah, father-son relationships too, but you know, it's like seeing them having all of this like freedom ahead of them and opportunity, and their young little bodies and little, fresh little minds, and you know, without baggage, without a lot of baggage. And you know, you might have like feelings about that, but again, you'll only have weird feelings about that if you abandon yourself first. So, you know, if there's anything keeping you from feeling happy for your own children, or really supporting their individuation and their self-expression and their individuality, it's because you're abandoning yourself first. And that's the wrong lead. You need to love that self first, and you can love other people. Okay? Like fully and completely. It's the guidance. So there could be a big thing coming up for you there. Queen of Cups with the Two of Pentacles. So this looks like, you know, trying to maybe get a creative project up and running. Not everything creative has to be monetized, okay? Let me say that first and foremost. There's some stuff that you can do just because it feels good, you know, just because you love it. Queen of Wands across. That's very interesting. So you might be working with another person, trying to get something going, trying to get something off the ground. This could be feminine products, or you could this could be where the market is feminine, or you know, like feminine stuff, and you might just be, you know, trying to get this going. Or you know, maybe it's an idea that you can take, and you partner up with someone to try and get something going. Okay, that could be fruitful for you, and it looks fun, and that's all that really matters, is if it's fun. Scorpio, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs, welcome, welcome, Scorpios. Okay, you have some big karma playing out with this Sun-Saturn Cazimi happening in your 4th house of home and hearth and kith and kin. So this is your home life, your family life. This is also your emotional seat of security. This is what makes you feel like, okay, I can do anything because I have this good feeling. I have this sanctuary within myself. Okay, so now since December 2020 to December 2021, this could have been easier. Your emotional development, you could have had, maybe you were living with a lot more space. Maybe you had more room to yourself. Maybe you had your whole apartment to yourself, or you had your whole room to yourself. Maybe real estate was going really well for you. Maybe the family was really happy. The family was going through a wonderful time. Mom was really happy. Things were okay. But December 2021 onward until now, things did get more difficult, and you didn't have the benefic influence of Jupiter to help it be easier to be happy and help it be easier to have more space. So then it could have been where now you have a roommate. You know, now you're sharing your room with your sibling. Or, you know, then the family got a little bit darker or depressing, or family issues were coming up, or you had more responsibility. They were telling you to go out and, you know, get a job, or they were telling you to, you know, that's a very direct, simple example, but it could have just been happening naturally. Maybe just natural things happening in your home life with your family that just forced you to have to show up more responsibly over the last couple of years. Now 2021, 2022, you also had the square happening with Uranus and Taurus and Saturn and Aquarius in your seventh house of relationships, battling all this stuff. So your one-to-one connections with other people, but also the public, have been the absolute greatest catalyst for change and growth for you with your emotions, with your how you stabilize yourself, how you feel confident, and how you take care of your emotional needs first and foremost. You got a really big injection of that at the end of last summer, moving forward at the end. So it's like the end of 2022, relationships are a huge focus. And you know, you could have met a lot of new people, you could have been developing new relationships, and they were really showing you some stuff. And especially you, Scorpio, with these eclipses has really been about letting go of some things about yourself because of what these relationships are showing you, and showing up to relationships in a different way. So on one hand, they're probably rattling you. There's relationship stuff that's making you feel like, you know, whether it's with your one-to-one connections, or with the public, if you work with the public, or if you're on social media, there could have been getting togethers, fast friendships, or fast coming together, but also breakages and shocks in these dynamics, and that could have really rattled how emotionally secure you feel. But just know that at this Cazimi moment right now, that you're resetting all of that. So really sit with how much you've learned about yourself, and how you emotionally have grown so much since December 2020, because you're ready to step into a more mature version of yourself, and it's already been happening. So you're already there, but just know that these last few weeks until March the 7th are going to be extra. You know, it might be whatever lessons you're really trying to learn, you might have to put on the big girl pants and, you know, get up and go do the thing, and really show up in that very mature kind of a way. Okay, but this is a seeding moment right now, so you know, it'll still take a little bit of time to see the results of all of this work that you're doing. So I'm just saying that so that you know to keep going. Don't look for the results right away. Do the hard work now and really absorb these lessons, because you're going to use this emotional strength later on, and you're going to want that there for you. It's like a tool in the toolbox that you can use later on. So, you know, build up this emotional resilience. It might feel a little cold. There might be women that feel cold to you, or women in the family that feel cold, and just realize that it may not be exactly what you think. You know, maybe you think that they're mad at you or they don't like you. It may not really be that. This is, you know, but even putting that aside, you feel a little alienated, or you feel a little left out. Your family you could be the odd one in your family, or your family could be a little bit odd themselves, or something like that. But it's okay, because you're learning how to individuate yourself and stand up on your own 2 feet and get your emotional reassurance from yourself. And you may find out later that, you know, those women or that family member, that they weren't actually cold, that they were busy, or that they were, you know, they were putting out fires somewhere. They were in dealing with some other crisis or something, and it wasn't personal to you. It wasn't a personal thing to you. And, you know, this is just an experience to get you out of that like emotionally insecure like mindset, so that you can feel more self-sufficient emotionally, because when you do that, then you can do anything. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot. Eight of Cups. So some of you could be leaving, or like leaving home, or leaving some kind of emotional situation. But it's always because, I always feel like the Eight of Cups is because your heart is pulling you towards something else. Okay? And you have the Ace of Swords. There's a wonderful piece of information or conversation or truth coming out, Scorpio, that is helping you move on, helping bring you forward into something. This could even be a better opportunity coming up for you, whether this is, you know, it's going to be something that's more in alignment with your heart, with what you feel is full of, like, honoring your own integrity, your own individuation, And, you know, this looks like a really good thing. This looks like you have a good thing going. You're going to walk into something really positive. You're going to be maybe moving out of the family home for the first time, or buying your first home, or, you know, something like that. So you have some great ideas and some stuff that you're moving towards. Very exciting. Very exciting. Love that. Sagittarius, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, Sag. Okay, you guys have some major karma playing out at this Cazimi moment on Thursday in your area of life that is all about your mentality and your communications and how you think, okay? How you think. So this is your third house, and that's what that means in astrology speak. So in December, from December 2020 to December 2021, it could have been easy. It could have been, you could have met people. There could have been very important meetings, maybe in your local neighborhood, in your local area, and you met more people. Your relationships with your neighbors and your local community was really easy and fun and free flowing, and it was easier to think positively. It was easy to communicate very optimistically. It was easy for you to have positive conversations with people. But from the end of 2021 until now, you've had some difficulty. It got less easy. You might have been dealing with some depression or some, you know, darker thinking, pessimism. And then you also had some shocks in your daily life. And that's because Saturn has been squaring off with Uranus and Taurus in your 6th house of daily work and routines. This is also where people are of service to us that we do not take advice from. So this is managers, this is nail techs, gardeners, and, you know, anyone that works for you, or where you're the grunt and you do grunt work for other people. So it's, but if that's like your day job, this isn't your career, this is your day job. And so this is also coworkers, managers, immediate supervisors, that kind of a thing. So those are the people and those are the areas that could have been very shocking, that destabilized your mentality, and maybe have even caused some mental stress for you. So you got a really big kick of this at the end of last summer in 2022, when we had the triple conjunction in that area of life for you. So we have the North Node, Uranus, and Mars, all in Taurus in that 6th house of yours. So on one hand, it could have brought you a lot of work, like a lot of daily work, if you, whatever you happen to do for your day job or for your daily tasking. This is also a health house, and this is opposing, and you have the South Node of Scorpio, and this is opposing anything you may have in Scorpio. So mental health is really a big issue for you. It's really been a big deal for you to be a positive thinker, and that could have been really hard and really challenging, and you're almost done. But right now, these last few weeks before March the 7th are going to be the hardest, because it's going to be the most concentrated, like the oils, you know how they have, like, that's like the most concentrated of that substance. That's what this is. So it's going to be a very, very, it depends on how difficult it's been and what you've been making of it. Everything's what we make of it, of course. But since the end of summer 2022 until now, you've had more interruptions to your daily life because of the thinking. Maybe even more errand running or more destabilizing events, and maybe even like a new coworker could have come on that just really bugs you or bothers you or challenges you to think in a way that you just don't want to think, and you don't want to change your mind on anything, or they don't, or both of you don't. So, you know, it could have, it's also been health issues as well for you guys, not just mental health issues, but also physical health issues. So you be careful that you don't psychosomatically create issues for yourself, okay? Also be careful you're not taking on too much debt. Be careful that you're not overworking yourself, and be careful most of all that you, whatever's going on, this is the time to think positively, even if there's no reason to think positively, because it's just been way too easy for you to go negative. Not even just like thinking negative, but speaking negatively. and projecting that onto other people. Other people could have projected that onto you too. So if people around you are not positive and they're not affirming, this is about you thinking and speaking in your integrity, Sagittarius, in your philosophical high-mindedness that we know that you can be. So, you know, you may, if you're having a very hard time with this, look at your ego, because your ego could be getting in the way of having a blessed outlook on life and feeling grateful in the moment. That's also this Uranus and Taurus area of life for you, is how you show up to your life moment to moment, a good attitude or bad attitude. And what, you know, the end of summer 2022 until now has really been trying to show you is to have more confidence in your skills, talents, and abilities, and your positive thinking, and to really show up to your day positively with your own love for yourself and your own gratitude and appreciation for yourself, and to maybe work really hard too. There could have been some projects that that you just, you know, the fire got lit under you and you just like dove right into it. So, you know, this Sun-Saturn Cazimi is giving you insight right into the heart of what you need to change, and the last little things you need to change in your mentality and how you speak and how you think, how you communicate. And you know, it could, for you, it could definitely be a little dim, a little bit dark, a little bit Eeyore energy, but you know what you need to make it right, and you know what you need to change in your mentality and how you think and how you speak as well, so that you're honoring yourself first and foremost in your integrity. Because if that's not right, then it's your ego, and the ego is going to make you suffer. That's a whole separate thing. Going through ego deaths is a whole separate thing. So, you know, the part of you that might feel frustrated or depressed or pessimistic, that's like the shadow, what we call the shadow in the spiritual community. And that is what you need to work with and on to exorcise the demon. This house is clear. I don't know if anyone sees from here, but you know, that's what it's going to be for you, is to really see into the heart of your mentality. Now, this is also a house of writing, so if anyone's a writer, you could get like the fire lit up under you again to write a really compelling blog post, or, you know, just make sure you're not going too dark with this. This could be really depressing, but it also could be really cathartic for you. So I would just start journaling about, you know, what you feel and what you're thinking, because it could be very serious and it could be very helpful to you to reflect upon later on. So, you know, if there's communication that results in like either a delay or a denial, you're getting that because you still need to learn how to think positively and confidently no matter what. So it was easier for you to think positively from December 2020 to December 2021. But, you know, it's easy when it's easy. It's about thinking positively even when there's no reason, externalized reason to, or when it's hard. And that's what the test is. So if there's a hard message that gets through to you, if there's a hard email that you get, if there's a rejection letter that comes in, how many rejection letters does Stephen King get? Not like a lot of rejection. Everyone gets rejection letters. So, you know, or if there's anything like that, you know, just take it with pride, but like healthy pride, because you need a healthy functioning ego, but you don't want the toxic ego. Okay, so don't make anything the reason to be really depressed and pessimistic. Make everything the reason you're going to be positive instead. But it's a personal choice, and so this Sun-Saturn Cazimi could really make you see that, and it could just feel heavy because it is your choice. You can't blame anybody else. You can't, you know, no, it's like you got to do that work. You know what I'm saying? So be really gentle with yourself. Take care of your needs, and, you know, really meditate on this, because it might seem like you might just be thinking very depressed or negatively, but it's an incubation period, and you don't know what's going to come out in March, because March is a really big month and everything's about to change for everybody. And so just don't automatically assume it's going to be the worst or that it's going to be bad for you, okay? It's going to be challenging, but like that's your karma right now. Let's take a look at your tarot. Messages. I just saw the time. It is so late. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. That's sweet. It's my Romeo card. Got all these computer issues. And the Eight of Cups. So this is like, you know, someone moving on. Their heart is bringing them to another place. So you might even be the one conveying some kind of sad news or serious. It doesn't have to be sad. It can just be serious. You might even just be, you might be sending your resignation letter and you might be moving and telling your landlord that you're leaving this neighborhood and you're going to go to a different neighborhood. You know, you might be the one to embark on a new adventure, or somebody else might offer something, a kind word, a compliment, or, you know, there's something about a wish coming true here. So, you know, this could even be a positive message. You know, you might even be starting a project and, you know, coming up, and it would be something that is very like mentally, how do I put this? This could be something that is very like mentally like detail oriented. So you could be working on some kind of like artistic project that's going to be taking up a lot of your, you know, mental powers that you're going to be very disciplined about. I like every part of screenwriting because of that. Like it's creative, but it's also like that really structured hard work. And so, you know, you could be doing something like that. Maybe it's a blog post, maybe it's a novel, maybe it's for work as well, or you may be you know, about to get into something like that. So let yourself meditate and sit with it, and then the words will come, the ideas will come. Okay, Capricorn, my Capricorn brothers and sisters. Okay, Caps. So here we are. We have our karma playing out in our second house. We have our karma of the Saturn-Sun Cazimi playing out in the area of life where our values are concerned, our money, what our skills, talents, and abilities bring in financially for us. It's our diet, it's our health in some respects, it's what we eat, drink, and smoke, and in what quantities we eat, drink, and smoke, and it's our self-esteem in a major way, because of who we are, because of us being us, okay? So this is where we're having some very deep, penetrating insight into the state of our finances, into the state of our health, how we're eating, how we're taking care of our bodies. And, you know, since from December 2020 to December 2021, there was a boost here. Okay, I was rolling in the Bitcoin at this point in my life personally. I was like, oh my God, the Bitcoin, you know? So it was really great. It was really lovely. And yeah, that was Jupiter for that first year. My psychic spidey senses were leading me to all the right coins at all the right times, and it was just really cool. It was really awesome. So it could have been easier in that year to make money. There could have been spending money, making big purchases, easier to feel confident, easier to, you know, easier for all that kind of a thing. But then December 2021 until like now, there was definitely less confidence with either your body, your finances, your skills, talents, and abilities. And that's because you lost the benefic influence of Jupiter, and also you have the squares happening between Uranus and Taurus with Saturn and Aquarius. And this is happening in your fifth house of creativity, sexuality, romance, passion, playtime. You know, there could have been, because this is also about your people. Remember, this is about our people that, for you, it's going to be the people that you feel like you can really feel sexually free with, people that you can feel yourself around, people that make you feel confident sexually, physically, creatively. This is like, you make a joke and someone just looks at you like they hate you instead of laughing with you. It's like, oh, I don't feel so free to express myself now, you know? But the squares to Uranus and Taurus could have been also financial. There could have been a pet or a child or a romantic partner that was unexpectedly expensive and you had to pay out to support your child in need, or your business needed more money for something, or it could have even been the reverse where you've had good moments, good spikes with your business, good spikes with the income, that they had like these little dips, like these little high points and little low points. But it definitely signals some kind of change in your finances. So some of you could have been monetizing something that you do for fun or as a hobby, as a way to make additional income. And if you already had a business, if you were already doing something, there could have been changes to that, could have been changes to the income. But if this was more with your children or sexually, this was definitely, you know, changes in the life of your children, in the life of your business, with your romantic partners, that greatly affected your self-esteem, that greatly affected, you know, how you feel in your sexual prowess, or how you feel, you know, in the bedroom, and how you feel valued, and valued for your own creativity. This is also your subliminal self. So you taking care of yourself first and foremost, not abandoning yourself, making sure that you get your needs met and take care of your own needs first and foremost, that are in alignment with your values. Okay, your own value. Oh, mother of pearl. Never changed it. Your own values and your own ethics. So, yeah, the squares could have been giving, you know, unsettling you, destabilizing your sexuality, your finances, your self-esteem, your eating habits. And, you know, that could have really like shaken you and rattled you. Now at the Sun-Saturn Cazimi, you get to see right into the heart of where you stand on all of these issues, Capricorn. You get to see where you stand with your finances, the real situation, taking a really good hard look at your finances, as well as your self-esteem, your health, like what you're eating and how you're cooking for yourself, as well as you personally, because you are Saturn, you are very heavily involved in this. So how you feel as far as your self-confidence. And, you know, there's only a few more weeks of this until March the 7th, Capricorn. So you're almost out, but whatever lessons you need to learn, especially with people being in alignment with your integrity and being in alignment with your, this is like a support for you, okay? The second house supporting that first house. So, you know, the people around you that make you feel good about yourself, the people around you that make you feel like you can do it, like you can, you know, like go and live to die another day. Okay, like that's like a whole other, it's a whole other like form of support. So, you know, you really get to see into the heart of this. And, you know, it may be a little bit somber right now, but things are about to turn and be very, very different. And Saturn's gonna leave. So, you know, don't get too maudlin about all this, okay? Because this is just so that you learn the lesson of self-esteem, self-worth, self-value. It's just so that you really learn and internalize these lessons, because it's not going to be this sharp and visceral for another 27 years. So you might have to make some big decisions and take on some responsibilities. There may be a big thing that you're about to purchase, or that you're about to pay out, or that you're about to receive payment for, because of your integrity and your morals and your ethics. And you know, you may be doing that upcoming soon, and you know, it'll be a big deal, it'll be very important to you. So it might even be something you're making payments on, or making payments for, buying your freedom, or you know, making payments to have more freedom doing something else, or you know, something kind of like that. So but it'll be very worth it to you. And it looks very serious and very responsible. So this is going to also be concretizing a revenue stream, concretizing a way that you're making money, but you might not see it quite yet. This is you seeding the confidence and you seeding the focus at like, I'm committing to this. I'm committing to this. I'm committing to my body. I'm committing to my happiness. I'm committing to my self-esteem, and I don't need to wait for the external results to show up for me to be happy right now, for me to be confident right now. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot. Tell me about Capricorn. Oh my God, the Wheel of Fortune. I feel like that's so a thing with the squares to Uranus in our 5th house, guys. Honestly, if anyone can link me in the comments below to a new $1 million telekinesis challenge, please let me know. That was literally my life plan since I was a little girl, that I was going to do telekinesis and win $1 million and make my movie. And since they closed it down, I need a new plan to make my movies and to do my thing. So you guys need to I will give you an executive producer credit on my movies if you just link me to the contest. I will do it. I will go in there. I will perform it. I will do the thing. And I just want to win my $1 million so I can make my movie. So any Capricorns that want to go into business with me, and put the link in the description box below of a $1 million telekinesis challenge, you will get an executive producer credit, and let's be business partners. That's something that can happen on a Wheel of energy. So something is changing though. Something is changing like in a 180. This is drastic, dramatic change, Capricorn, okay? Very dramatic. What else can Capricorn expect? What is this? Thank you. Even more so, Capricorn, because the moon is, oh, when you even have the Empress here, oh, this is amazing. Okay, so things can really change on a dime for you, Capricorn, and this is like the time has come, because the moon's all about cycles. So, but it's also the subconscious. So you really do have to overcome some fears. Fears of being wealthy, fears of being powerful, fears of being true to yourself and your own values, because that's like that Aquarius energy, and you like really being like who you are. And then you can have that big change in your life kind of like happening and showing itself to you. Now, this is a seeding moment. You're laying some eggs, you're sitting on your eggs, and so, you know, it's like growing in the dark, and you just have to like nurture the thought, the idea, the revenue stream, the business idea, whatever it happens to be, and, you know, give it your faith and your attention and your confidence, and overcome any fears associated with going for it, with advocating for yourself, advocating for your self-esteem, or this, you know, revenue stream, whatever it happens to be. Because it does look like there's some change happening for you. Looks like this makes it look like you're due for some change. The tide is turning, a new era is dawning, and, you know, it might happen pretty fast, okay? Also money, fast money or something, incoming, outgoing, what have you, okay? Hello, Aquarius, sun signs, moon signs, and rising signs. Welcome, willkommen to your karma playing out in your 1st house, to this Sun-Saturn Cazimi. Wow. It's just been really crazy for you guys, huh? With this happening, you know, since December 2020 to December 2021, you have had, it could have been easier to have more self-confidence in yourself. Maybe there was some more responsibilities, or you were growing up a little bit more, being a little bit more mature, but it was fun. It was way more fun. It was easier to be happy, easier to be optimistic. And, you know, from December 2021 till now, it just has not been as easy. And it has just been the responsibility without the support, or without as much support in some way, shape, or form. Now that's because Saturn's been squaring off with Uranus and Taurus in that 4th house of home and heart, thinking. So something about either your home life, your living situation, or your family has been really rocking your sense of self-esteem and your emotional seat of security, honestly, as far back as 2018. But with all of this happening, this is like since December 2020, it's like you had to show up in kind of like a bigger way for your family, for your living situation, for your home life. But throw all that out, it's just really about you feeling secure, no matter what. No matter what the external circumstances are saying, or what the family happens to say or think about anything, okay? So these squares have been, wanting you to outgrow old ways of feeling emotionally secure, because you're growing up, because you're ready to handle more mature quality of life, okay? So, you're going to be probably taking on some big responsibility, or you're ready for something else. This is like the end of a maturation process, where you're ready for the next step of your own little evolution. And, at this Cazimi moment, you're really getting to see into the heart of where you stand with yourself and how far you've come, and your maturity since 2020, or I spat, sorry, and your maturation process, your process of individuation. It's probably been pretty hard for you guys to really feel like super aligned with people, because you've probably felt like, oh, they don't get it, or you definitely could be feeling super alienated, or things don't go exactly like as you planned, or you don't get the support that you expected. A lot of things could have just been happening to force you to rely more on yourself. And that's going to come in handy for later on. But, at this time, you're seeding something new inside of yourself, where you're going to come back to it, and it'll be there for you, and you'll feel better immediately. You got a big influx of this at the end of summer 2022, when we had the triple conjunction in Taurus, with the North Node, Uranus, and Mars all in Taurus. So that was like a huge, something was going on there. You were moving into a new house. You were expanding the family. You did pregnancies, births, marriages, homes, family developments, or something significant happening in the life of a family member, or your mother, or a dominant feminine person in your life. Something big rocking and rolling there. This could have definitely, been a big focus for you to expand what makes you feel emotionally secure. But right now, your focus is on being mature enough to rise to some kind of bigger occasion in your life. So you might be, like I said, taking on some bigger responsibilities soon, or just firming up in some way, shape, or form all of the work that you have already been doing in terms of showing up to life very realistically. Now, if this is like a depressing type of influence right now, it's just a low energy period, and you just want to sit with the lessons that you've been learning as far as being mature and being more responsible to yourself in terms of honoring your own identity first, and being true to yourself first and foremost before you answer to anybody else, before you answer to a situation or your family or a partner or anybody. And taking care of yourself first and foremost, honoring your own integrity, staying true to yourself. So if it feels especially alienating, or you feel alienated from people or close partnerships, just use this time to really meditate on these things. And you may not be as alienated as you feel, but you're meant to feel it so that you can feel more self-sufficient. And then you can, there's just a couple weeks left of this Aquarius, so it's like, crunch time for all of us. So it's just like, but it's just seeding that last resolve inside of you, where you're like, I don't care, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna do this. There's this thing that I want, and I'm not mature enough, or I don't have the qualifications, but I'm gonna rise and I'm gonna meet it. I'm gonna meet the maturity level. I'm gonna meet the requirements, whatever the requisites, whatever it happens to be. Okay, so let yourself stretch in that sense. Okay, let's take a look at your tarot. Ooh. You're the only sign that got the Fool. Okay, that means you're super special. Okay, Okay, Aquarius. So the Fool, the Temperance, and the Six of Cups. This is really interesting. So there could be a risk that you're ready to take that doesn't seem so risky because it's someone you know very well. This is like someone that's known you since childhood, or they're, you know, best friend from childhood, or a family member, or so they're a soulmate of some kind. And this is saying that you feel really comfortable with them. You might be, I don't know what you're doing with them, maybe starting a business together, or maybe reconnecting with, you know, a long lost soulmate after a very long time. But there's like a lot of peace and healing happening here. So I would say, like, whatever, if this is like a maturity thing, like rise to the occasion, because you're ready to start a new little adventure. Oh, wow. Wow. We have the Ten of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles to cross. So, Aquas, this is like an investment of relationship for you. This is like a quality relationship, okay? Relationships have also been very difficult for you the past couple of years because Saturn's also been opposing the Leo stuff and like your Leo 7th house. So this is definitely like showing you that hard work, you know, putting the hard work into the right relationships, you know. So I would do that. I would look at your relationships, Aquas, and really see, you know, which did you put a lot of work into, which did you give up on, which did you neglect, which plants did you water and not water, and how do you feel about that? Like, did you get the return on investment? Are your relationships, and you, more so you, but also these relationships, since it's coming up, is it all where you want it to stand? Or does something need more watering? Or does something need more healing? This could even be temperance and sobriety. Do you need to cut back, or does somebody else need to cut back for the sake and the success of the relationship and the happiness of the relationship? You know, these are things to meditate on and to think about. And then, you know, take the weekend, and then next week you're on a brand new energy with the new moon in Pisces. March is when the energy, we're in a whole new world in March. Okay. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising, it is your time. It is your time, Pisces, to deal with this karma in your self-sabotaging mechanisms. Self-sabotage and secrets and sorrows and self-undoing, all that kind of stuff. Everything that's hidden from you, hidden from your plain sight, is now really up close, first and foremost. So this Sun-Saturn Cazimi is happening in your 12th house of secret sorrow, self-undoing, in the sign of Aquarius. And for you, this is going to be, so from December 2020 until December 2021, Pisces, you could have absolutely felt like it was a lot easier to have better mental health. You could have even gotten away with some things, like some things that you were doing behind the scenes that might not have been in your integrity, or, you know, the secrets were maybe a little bit easier to conceal for you. But from December 2021 until now, it wasn't so easy. And in fact, you've been challenged with circumstances that put your integrity on the line, or that put your mental health on front and center display, and testing the strength and the resilience of your mental health in some big ways. So, and that's because also Saturn being there, but also squaring Uranus and Taurus in your 3rd house of the mind and intellect. So secret affairs, secrets, anything behind the scenes, mentally, in your fantasies, in your mind's eye, in your psychology, in your karma, and your baggage from your family history, your past lives. You could be dealing with inherited things, things that your parents dealt with, or a parent dealt with. You're dealing with it now, and it's up to you to heal it. You know, that generational healing thing. And, you know, changing your mentality, you could have been faced with that. You could have been faced and challenged with changing your mind, changing how you speak, changing, you know, how your motives. You've had some very secretive motives, Pisces. So, you know, there could have been shocks to your mental health. There could have been shocks, like secrets, like you could have spilled your own secrets, other people could have outed you for certain things. And now is the time with the Sun-Saturn conjunction, this Cazimi moment, that you're resetting the mental health. You're going to give yourself, that was what I want for you, to give yourself a clean new slate. But first you have to really absorb these lessons, and there is something that is weighing down on you, like it's like either bothering you or it's some kind of other pressure that is like your conscience, because it's Aquarius and it's about your own personal ethics and morals and integrity and what you believe in your heart of hearts is like the right thing, or so this is like something happening behind the scenes that you're likely trying to take care of. This could be even an addiction that you're battling, or even admitting that you have some kind of addiction or complex or some kind of issue that it's best to admit that to yourself first, so that you can then get help for it and you can get it treated and you can get yourself feeling a lot better. So this would be a great time to start therapy, or to think about starting therapy, because then you're going to have a new moon next week and then you can actually like get up there and do it, so but there's something that's mental health is a really big issue for you right now, and it's important to take that very, very seriously. It's not, you're almost done with this transit. This is like once in a 27-year transit and you're almost done with it. So it's just now until March the 7th is going to be so like grinding down the message, driving the point home really strongly and viscerally, Pisces, where you self-sabotage, where you are your own undoing, and you need to see that so that you can change it. Okay, so definitely might be a little bit grim and dim, but really important and really insightful, because you're not going to have this quality of insight for another 27 years, and you want to look and see as much as possible so that you don't continue to self-sabotage for the next 27 years until you get to see it again. So anything that is being shown to you, really write a list, write it down, so you can like try and fix as much of it as possible, because when like you might be making a bigger commitment to fixing this in maybe in a more professional help type of a way, but you want to do that. You want to make sure that you get it taken care of, because then it's going to run you and it's going to continue to ruin opportunities for you, or relationships, or compromise yourself, or lead to just humiliation or rejections, or like victim situations, like just bad situations that leave a bad taste in your mouth, or that you're not happy with how something happened, you're not happy with how something went down. So just really take the weekend, take this time, this Cazimi day moment, to really sit with it and really get like what it was, or what happened, or how you were thinking, or how did you contribute to the situation, the self-sabotage part of it. Okay, I know that sounded kind of dark. It's not. This can also be that you're working on something behind the scenes and you're gonna reveal it, and you're almost ready to reveal it. So okay, Knight of Swords, some of you might be really ready to talk about it, wanting to talk about it fastly and furiously. Yeah, you really do. So some of you really have something to say. You have the Star. This is healing, this is grace and forgiveness, and like just specifically mental healing. So if you have something to say, if you want to talk to a therapist, if this is your sign, this is literally your sign in a tarot reading, to do it, to go for it, because it is going to make you feel so much better. It's making you feel so much better. It's like literally clearing out the karma, cleaning out your closet, like Eminem says. Okay, so rap about it, because that's going to make you feel, my lips got stuck together. Rap about it, because any verbal way to bring this out into the open, even to yourself, is going to make you like, you just don't want to keep it. You don't want to keep it alone. You don't want to keep this problem to yourself. So when you open and share that, it's less secrets, it's less lying. Okay, so you're going to feel better when you come out with it, or when even talking about secrets from your childhood, even talking about something that happened like 30 years ago or 20 years ago is going to make you feel a lot better. Like a big weight is lifted off of your chest. So if there's like a trauma that you haven't told anyone, and it's just been like you've been having nightmares and stress dreams, and your relationship is falling apart and work is falling apart, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just something. Maybe that's a self-sabotage thing that you're doing, but maybe it's a different trauma. Maybe it is something else. Maybe you're holding somebody else's secret, or maybe you're holding a company's secret. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whatever that is, you know, talking it through is going to give you so much healing. You're going to feel so much better. Okay. For those of you that have sat through this entire thing, doing your laundry or doing the dishes and doing your errands around the house or whatever you're doing when you're listening to all 12 zodiac signs in the intro, we have made it to the very end, and I hope that you guys have very much enjoyed all of this. Make sure to take a look at all of the websites, the Wholesome Occultist, TheFirstArteagan.com, patreon.com/TheFirstArteagan, and look at all of the goodies there. We have meditations, we have weekly psychic tarot readings where I remote view into all 12 zodiac signs, your forecast for the week ahead, and any additional messages. There's a monthly forecast for all 12 zodiac signs. There are sub clubs on thearteagan.com/Patreon. If you are a creative writer, we do Arteagan table reads. If you guys want to work on your financial manifestations, we have the Crypto Sesh sub club, where it is equal parts financial literacy and crypto stuff. We have Archangel Alchemy, which is new, that's just got on February, where that is our introduction into the angelic kingdom. If you like to do your own magic and you like psychokinesis and telekinesis, we have PK Party every single Friday sub club. If you want to learn how to do tarot readings by yourself and do tarot readings for other people, we have Tarot Talk sub club every Sunday, or you can watch them on the replay. So there's just like a lot of goodies over on the Patreon, and there's also some people that book through the Wholesome Occultist, and just be aware that the booking tool is not completely functional, so your thing doesn't show up like right away, but I get the email, and that is telling me that that is your first choice for your sessions. If you book the packages, I think it is less expensive on the Wholesome Occultist than it is on Patreon, and I think that might have to do with like how they charge like for taxes, or how they calculate the fees. I don't know, but you guys are way smarter than me, and you guys are way better at math than me, and so I have some of you booking me through the Wholesome Occultist, like the tiers and like the subscriptions, because you can get packages, and then I have some of you over on the Patreon. So make sure to browse these websites, and, you know, choose the setup that works for you. And, you know, I'm always happy to serve. I am happy to support. So whether it's guided meditations that you like or that you need, or these monthly forecasts, or if you need personal transit trackers for your own personal chart for the month ahead, or if you need to see me once a week on Zoom to work on your magic abilities, I am so happy to be of service to you. I absolutely love it and adore it. So you guys take good care, and I will see you guys on Monday for our weekly forecast. Until then, my loves, many beautiful blessings upon all of your beautiful head startings. Mwah.